We're off the rails. It's Aisha Protlier and Eric Jenkins. We are on a new recording platform, so we are absolutely hyped. We've had some technical difficulties. Uh, I work at a tech company, and I had a lot of technical difficulties. At the end of the day, I'm just a girl,
You're
and
you're just a girl.
I'm just a girl, and we worked really hard. We both tried to solve problems. I don't know if you're following along on our Instagram at Eric and Aisha Pod, but it's all just reels of Eric. Like my, it looks like I've been like recovering from some like horrendous like facial reconstruction surgery because I haven't shown my face in any of the reels, but it's just because we couldn't figure out how to record my video and Eric's video, but now we're here. So if you um want to see little clips and snippets, now you'll see both of us. Instead of, I mean, Eric's beautiful. You know, we love looking at Eric, but now I'm here too.
Yeah,
So
hopefully hopefully this is the lucky one. Hopefully you got it figured out now.
yeah.
Well,
Um
wow, Aisha, what a big week for people who cheated.
such a big week for cheaters.
The Astronomer CEO, Ruth Chepngetich, my God.
Oh my God, we're having a week. This is an incredible week for memes for the chronically online. I'm having a really great time. Um, Absolutely loving it. Plus, we have the Tour de France memes, which are always great. So we're the online are thriving. I think my favorite meme of the astronomers was the open to work LinkedIn overlay.
I don't
It's
know if I saw
just,
I don't know if I saw that one.
oh my God, Eric,
There's so
get
many.
on the internet.
Yeah. What an idiot, huh?
What an idiot. What an idiot. I also loved all the memes that were like, this is why boomers wanted everyone to go back into the office so that they could get back with their side pieces.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the best part of it by far was the fact that in his apology letter, he ended it with a Coldplay lyric. Did you
Like,
see that?
didn't Coldplay just like ruin your life? Well, your choices ruined your life, but like,
Yeah, you can't blame Coldplay for the affair, but
no.
but I still love that even after all that, he ended it with an absolutely beautiful Coldplay lyric, and it just kind of it was like the cherry on top. Um, but man, absolute dynamite for the internet.
It's gold. It's gold. It's like almost as good as the Pop Tart bowl for memes. Like I love it.
It's
I
good
love it.
stuff.
But like we said, we love to see the downfall of people's lives and choices. So this just falls right in line with that.
Not a lot of Ruth Chepngetich memes yet.
Not a lot. Couple from what is it with the Aussie account? Heaps good runners. Heaps of good runners. Is
Oh,
that what
I'm
the?
not entirely sure. I'm sure
Oh my
No
God.
Context has a couple going, but
Yeah. No,
I would
really good
hope.
stuff. This is like crazy, but also not so crazy. And I should have reposted this a bit, but um I on my Instagram story earlier this week made a little comment about um really what these like egregious world records that come up to be faulty because of cheating, like what does all this mean, and we promised we'd dive into it today, but there is, I think it was Freddie Crittenden, commented on our Eric and Aisha pod Instagram, and with a good comment, really just about the like how much of these positive tests with all of these Kenyan athletes have to do with athletes getting taken advantage of. And I really wanted to dive into a couple of thoughts here, if I may.
Yeah, let's go.
So, in the in my little, just I'm commuting home. I put a couple things on my Instagram story. I mention a couple of pieces of how damaging it is for dirty athletes, muddying the waters for clean athletes. And something that's not really talked about a lot is like it's not just a one-off performance. It's in that performance. We're talking about Ruth Chepngetich 209 world record marathon at the Chicago Marathon. She tests positive for masking agents, something like 109 or 120 times the legal limit of these masking agents in her system, which point to what the fuck was she on for this? These diuretics that help flush out the banned drugs in your system and whatever. So cheater, cheater, pumpkin eater. But it's not just on the day, right? Like on the day, she leaves a trail of tears in just absolutely mashing up the entire race for everyone else because you go in your second, third place. I think it was Emily Sisson and Sarah Hall, American marathoners, and you also want to win the Chicago Marathon. So Ruth Chepngetich's strategy of going out and running 209 absolutely demolishes, if you choose to go with that, which Sarah Hall did, in the moment, it demolishes your race strategy because you don't have the juice in your system to defy the human limit, which clearly this has, 209 on this day defied the human limit because it was aided with drugs. So not only do you like set false, a false world record, you kamikaze the race for other people who choose to go with because they rock up to the line thinking, all right, this is my day. I believe in myself. I'm ready to win this race. I I take when in my athletic career, I took this approach too. I rocked up to the line thinking I'm gonna go in blind. I'm not gonna believe that anybody that I'm racing is on drugs because that is, you know, I've already lost if I put power over my competitors like this. But something that we don't talk about enough is how our sport is built on performances and how in professional sport and professional track and field a lot is built on historical performances. And you'll hear, if you're relatively new to running, and I love that we have a lot of listeners here that are not like so deep in the weeds with professional running. So let me just do a little educational moment on how someone qualifies for the Olympic Games or a world championship. Historically, the only way to qualify is based on these standards, so a time standard. In the past, there have been A standards and B standards, but it's all based on this time. And this time is created by like the historical times run, say the top 25 times in the world that are run, and sort of cascading down from that. So, World Athletics, which is the global governing body of track and field and road running, they set these standards, so these time standards, and they're based on what did people run the last year. Okay, so I guess women are running 209 for the marathon. We really, we're looking at like the standard deviation. We're looking at just like what is a typical time for an elite female marathoner to run, and we're going to set this standard at that time. Now a 209 is going to pull that way faster. It's going to pull that curve way faster. So now all of a sudden you're expected as an athlete to run, what's the Olympic marathon standard? So for Paris, the Olympic marathon standard was 2:08:10 for the men, and for the women 2:26:50. So now we have women running 2:09, we have women running really fast times, and you bet that the standard for 2028 is going to get a lot faster. So that then creates the standard for not only qualifying, but that creates the standard on which the whole sport is built on. So if you're not a woman who can run the standard, you're probably not going to get sponsored. You're probably not going to be paid to be a professional athlete because you are held to these standards that you need to be fast enough so that you could get into you can be on the biggest stage, you can get into the biggest races, you can provide value for a footwear company. Now, all of the standards are, again, just on these historical times. So if you're looking at, like the 10K standards have gotten like so ridiculously fast. In particular, 10K standards have
So
gone nuts.
am I right in thinking that like the 10K standard, it's the top like 50 times and it's the average of those 50 times? Is that
I
how it
think
works?
there's like like loosely, like
Something
there's
like that.
something like that. There's some sort of calculation that is based on the last year's like top
Yeah.
50 or top 25 or whatever.
Okay.
And now World Athletics has like a second means to qualify, which is based on world ranking. And the world ranking gets tricky because it's still tied to time. Because the world ranking is not just like a head-to-head competition, there's also bonus points built into like how big of a meet it is. And if you compete at the Olympic Games or the World Championships, that's the most amount of bonus points. National championships have bonus points. The Diamond League has a huge amount of bonus points. Continental Tour Gold has a good amount of bonus points, and then you go trickle down to like the Stumptown Twilight, which just happened on Saturday. That's kind of like the lowest amount of bonus points that you can hit. So yeah, you can like go and head to head and compete, but if you're not at the highest level of competition, even if you run, say, I don't know, 402 in the 1500 somewhere, that's going to mean a lot more if you're in the Diamond League versus Stumptown Twilight. So, and how do you get into those races? You have a higher world ranking, you have faster times that have come from the bigger competition. So it's all that, just this cascading effect of like, if someone at the very top, if someone breaks a world record, finds out that they've tested positive, it has a major ripple effect on like the person coming out of college trying to get a deal to have this dream. And it is incredibly damaging. So the second part that we'll get into is like is not was Freddie's comment, but no matter what the intent was, no matter the circumstance in which someone cheated to get where they went, it has a huge ripple effect through all of the sport. And that's something that when you see these reactions from a lot of other pro athletes that get really pissed off, it's like, well, yeah, because you just screwed over so many people, not just the one performance, not just the one day, not just the race tactics, but you're messing it up for everyone else by cheating and breaking these world records.
I mean, there's so much to like really dive into with this one. Emily Sisson had a really fantastic post. Like, you're taking away moments that people work their entire lives for, and you're never gonna get that back. I mean, it's not surprising, right? Like, this isn't surprising at all that she was doping. She broke the world record by, was it 2 minutes? She ran 209 like 50, right? No woman had ever run in the 210s or the 211s.
Correct.
So it's not surprising at all she was doping. It's actually pretty surprising that she got caught. It's one of those things where you're like, it's rare to see people get caught. There's so much like crazy shit in here, because after she ran that race, I think it was one of the Let's Run guys questioned, how can we feel this is a pretty unbelievable time. How are we like supposed to believe this? And I'm pretty sure the Kenyan government may like ask them to issue an apology. And
yes.
I mean, you can say a lot of stuff about the Let's Run guys, but holy shit, they got to feel good about that now. It's a really ridiculous situation. But another really big point in all of this is that there's a lot of, this isn't just like a Ruth Chepngetich problem. Like there's a lot of factors that are going into athletes dope. It's not just like an athlete thing. Like first, like Kenya, let's be honest, Kenya seems to have a pretty serious doping problem.
Right.
This isn't, there's been a lot of positive tests out of Kenya, and I'm not singling Kenya out. There's a lot of doping is a worldwide issue, but of the recent positive tests, a lot of them are Kenyan. And there's a lot of factors that are going into that. But what's really unfair is that Ruth Chepngetich is shouldering all the blame when her team has to be looked at. And there's a few names that are always coming up when these athletes are testing positive. And one of them
Yes.
is Federico Rosa, her agent.
Federico Rosa.
That name comes up a whole lot when you see positive tests out of these athletes. And that, you know, he doesn't need to face the music like Ruth Chepngetich. Ruth Chepngetich is now banned, and Federico Rosa just moves on to the next one, and it's business as usual. So there really is something that's wrong with the system when these agents and these teams around the athletes can get off scot-free. I don't know, you know, obviously I don't have the answer right now, but there does need to be some sort of accountability for the other people, not just the athletes in this situation.
Oh, completely agree. So by the end of 2024, 119 Kenyan athletes and personnel appeared on the official ineligibility list. I think
119.
Ruth is 120.
So
that's a
round
problem.
number. Yeah.
Round number. So that's a problem. And you're absolutely right. So I think we should also note that Federico Rosa he has athletes from other countries that have received bans. The Brazilian pole vaulter, I'm blanking on his name. The Ukrainian Beck Rowanchuk, I think a long jumper just tested positive for either testosterone or a steroid, like not a masking agent, like a drug. And you are absolutely right. So for our listeners, little background. I serve on the Athletes Commission for World Athletics. So I'm in my second 4-year term. You get elected to this position at a world championship. You have to have competed at a world championship within a certain amount of years to be eligible to stand for election. And then you get elected by athletes at world championships. And this role basically necessitates that athletes are in the room for world athletics decisions. So I am like pretty plugged in with what happens at our global governing body, and I have a solution. I have at least a step toward a solution. And I've been on this motherfucking soapbox for a long time. And so one important change that's happened recently at World Athletics is that they have created a database, and they're to work to professionalize the sport, that athlete representatives, ARs, agents, managers, whomever, need to be registered in the database of World Athletics. There is a famously really difficult test for agents to take to become a registered agent in track and field. You have to know the rule book really well. There's, safeguarding things that need to be addressed. You basically enter now into an agreement with World Athletics that there is basically a board that handles disputes now, a disciplinary tribunal. There are all of these now checks and balances that World Athletics has created an umbrella over the athletes' representatives. This is important because before it was kind of the Wild West. Like you were just a registered AR and you just did your thing. You're just an agent. You're like a separate entity to World Athletics. You just like were, running and gunning with your athletes. Now that World Athletics looks over these athletes, and they enter an agreement, they now have recourse that if agents are found to be messing up, now they have more of a stronghold over the situation. I think the very first step, and this is the soapbox that I've been on, is on the World Athletics website, if you look up an athlete, their registered athlete representative comes up. So you can look at Ruth Chepngetich, who pops up, Federico Rosa, Rosa Associati is the name of his management agency. So what I'm proposing is if you want to look up an AR, it should have a list of all of the athletes that have served a ban under that agent. We athletes need to know. And to Freddie's point of, hey, maybe we're not getting the whole story here. Maybe Kenyan athletes are being taken advantage of. There are lots of investigative journalism pieces about how particularly female Kenyan athletes have been coerced by either romantic partners that become their agents that sort of coerce them into taking drugs, and it's this the name for it is a hyena, and it's really damaging, and that is true. If an athlete was empowered with the knowledge that Federico Rosa has has Rita Jeptu, Jemima Sumgong, Asbel Kiprop, you name it, some of the biggest names in sport that have tested positive for drugs. If we can see, hey, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't have Federico be my agent. Like maybe that's the first step. The second step is there needs to be an investigation. You have to prove that these agents are involved. They could not be involved. There could be something else going on. There could be some other bad actor, but athletes rarely in these sophisticated doping regimes act alone. Who is helping these people? Is Federico Rosa is somebody involved in this? And if so, there are sophisticated enough investigations. The AIU has a great team. WADA can investigate. You can have to turn over your devices. So, there's all of these things that can be done. And if it is found that an agency has a hand in this, there needs to be a punishment. There needs to be a ban. There's more to the story than just one athlete going to wherever and figuring out how to dope. Like this is to my eyes, there's too many repeated cases, 120 athletes from one country serving bans. Where is what's the invisible string pulling this all together? And that's what we need to get to the bottom of. And by banning individual athletes, it's not solving the problem. It's not solving the problem. Like, we need to get to the root of the issue.
Yeah, it's definitely not solving the problem. It is such a tough thing to be able to crack down on like getting what's actually going on. I think that there's so many factors at play here for the doping crisis, like worldwide, but especially I think in the East African countries. Like, I'm very lucky in that I've never had a coach or an agent come to me and say, you should take this, you'll run better, you'll make the teams, your dreams will come true. Like, I'm very lucky that I've never been put in that situation, because everybody thinks that they're the person that's going to say no, and that they're the ones who are going to do the right thing. And realistically, you're probably not, right? Like, statistics say like you're probably not going to be the only one to do the right thing when everybody else is not doing that. So I'm very, very lucky in that sense. There is, and I think another situation that the way that contracts are set up in terms of American athletes are so much different than how a contract is set up for a Kenyan athlete, right? Like Ethan Strand right now signed what I imagine will be a 6-figure contract. And there is not whoever the Ethan Strand of Kenya is not signing a 6-figure contract, right? They are these agents are going in. With the understanding that I know is they're going in and they are getting everybody. They are rounding up they're going to the track on a Tuesday, and whoever is unsigned, I'm getting them, and I'm going to get them for pennies on the dollar, right? I'm giving them a small contract because I know I can, right? That I'm the only one who's going to offer them anything, so I got him. I don't need to throw the house at him because I know what he will take. And now, right now, that winning a race makes so much of a life-changing difference, so much more than an American, like a guy who's making $5,000 a year in Kenya, and you go win the New York City Marathon or whatever world major marathon, and you make $300,000 right there, and you just take that, and that's life-changing money to bring back home to Kenya. You can genuinely ride off into the sunset, retire, change your whole family's life with that. And I think that is absolutely something to take into consideration, that it's just a lot different for the non-Americans, right? And it's it's tough to say, oh, the contract situations need to change, because it's not, it's not going to work. There's so much at play here, but there's cultural things that are different, and there's a lot of shady people at play
Predatory
here
practices.
that don't face the repercussions. And it's sad to say. It's sad that the blame comes down the athletes, and that the other people that are really pulling the strings, their names aren't in the paper as much.
And I agree with that, but I also think that there are cultural differences in the way that people think about drugs. And it
Agreed.
is the most difficult thing to prove is intent, right? Like, we could feel compassionate and empathetic about people's economic status, but we can also at the same time understand that we're all held to standards. We're all held to ethical standards. We're all held to the rules of the sport. This is a made up game, but we all have to play by the rules. And I don't I don't buy into naivete. I know that these athletes know what they're doing. I have shared a hotel room with a much older than me Kenyan woman where I was taking my NSF certified third party tested vitamin D pill. And she asked, "Oh, do you have extra endurance? Can I have some?" The fuck is endurance? Like, no, this is vitamin D. Like, there is space to feel empathy and sadness for a situation. And I feel those things. But at the same time, I'm not willing to say it's okay, because they, in a lot of cases, believe that everybody's doing this. And look, not everybody's cheating. Not everybody's cheating. Not everybody needs a TUE. Not everybody is like doing whatever stuff is happening. And it ruins the integrity of the sport. It ruins fan participation. It ruins a lot. And I'm not willing to give someone a pass because of situations that there's a lot of people in those situations. There's a lot of people not in Kenya in those situations. And it's difficult to talk about, but I'm willing to say, like, this needs to change. And maybe the contracts do need to change. Maybe the predatory practices of agents and sponsors and whomever needs to change. But to me, this is not, it isn't okay. No matter the intent, it's not okay.
Oh, 100, no, it isn't okay. And you brought up a good point with, like, it does change the fan participation, because once now fans kind of assume now that you kind of assume people are doping, everybody's doping, and I think a lot of that has to do with like kind of the Lance Armstrong, um, this idea that yes, Lance Armstrong won, and we came down on him for doping, but the entire peloton, you know, he was first, but everybody through 50 was on the same stuff that he was, and now everybody thinks, the casual person believes that all endurance sports and all Olympic sports is like that. That if you want a podium at the Olympics or at a World Championships, you got to be on a doping protocol, right? And that's 100% not true. And I'm not as involved in the sport as I was when I was competing, but I genuinely do, and I don't know if this is me being naive, but I genuinely believe that most of the people on the distance podium are clean, right? And I think you have to, if you want to enjoy the sport and like have a love for the sport, you can't think that every single, and it just ruins the sport if you think that every single good performance is because of drugs. Every single good performance should be looked at through a skeptical lens. It's just like there's no way to have fun and promote the sport, try and build up the sport if at every single good performance is, well, I think this person's doping. Now, I do think, on the other hand, a performance like this, where you in the marathon you're shaving 2 minutes off the current world record in one race. I think it is fine to say that, to look at that with some raised eyebrows and be like, I'm not entirely sure about that one. But yeah, I do think the majority of the competitors, I mean, definitely the majority of competitors are clean. Now we don't know you can't say for certain whether somebody with 100% certainty, whether somebody's clean. You can, think they're a good person, and you can be 99% sure they're clean, right? But you don't know. And I think it really hurts the fan participation. It really hurts how, people who are trying to get into the sport but don't really understand it look at it, and then it just makes everybody question everybody when it's really not fair.
You're exactly right. And one piece of advice I received my first full year as a pro came from Nick Willis. And I I came into professional sport not from, I ran at a mid major school. I ran at Illinois State. I was one of the only athletes to go pro in track and field, like in their, in the school's history, just a handful of us. And I didn't know doping existed. I truly was naive. I was confronted with this my first summer over in Leuven, Belgium. There was a positive test that had happened, and it shook me to my core because I thought that doping was a uniquely 80s thing. Like I truly didn't know it existed, and it really made me question a lot of things. Like, do I even want to be in the sport? Like this really shook me. And I remember having a conversation with Nick Willis in 2013, who has Olympic and world medals, and was, I believe, to Eric's point, you can never know 100%, but I would give 100% to say Nick Willis is one of the, or if not the, yeah, one of the best clean athletes like in history. And his piece of advice was like, look, you can't believe people on the starting line are dirty, but the cleanest starting line you'll ever face is a world championship. The cleanest starting line you'll ever face is an Olympic Games, because athletes have to be present days in advance of the championship. It's the most frequent drug testing that you'll ever face. Like, you basically land, you get to the hotel, you get drug tested. Like, it is and that piece of advice really saved me and saved my love for the sport and saved my like personal um mojo, basically, of like going to, going to the world championships and being like, yeah, like let's fucking go. Everybody's on the same playing field, at least on this day. And I think these are the most visible moments in sport. So I'm with you. Like the podiums at these major championships are probably the things you can try to believe in, like I get really skeptical in these moments where something like this, it's a good thing because that's one less person in the pool that's doping, but it also makes you introspect and like really think about like, what am I seeing, what's real, what's not. But in these biggest moments, like if I could just pass that on, that like, hey, what you're seeing in these biggest moments is as real as gets.
Yeah. I mean, it is a good thing, right? It is great to see somebody get caught, because also it's like there's a whole system for how these people are evading tests, right? Like right when you're in the testing pool, right? If I was still competing, I could hear a knock on the door right now, and now I have to go take the test. The guy won't leave my side until, I give blood and urine or whatever it is. It's just urine, right? But you hear a lot of stories about about Kenya, right? And now I don't know if all these are true, but you hear about when a WADA, drug testers in the airport, there's like a chain of commands, right, where people are alerting camps and people, hey, there's a WADA agent that just landed in Kenya. You don't be wherever it says you are, and just if you're gonna piss hot, get out of there. So it's like there's so many ways that people are evading and kind of getting around. And this isn't just Kenya, right? I'm saying Kenya comes up a lot, and Ruth's from Kenya, so it's like we're coming down particularly hard on Kenya, but this happens all over the globe. There are intricate ways that people have set up to get out of it's if you're going to fail a test, the easiest way to not fail a test is to not take that test, right? So the last thing you would do if you are going to fail a test is take it. So it's like this guy, let's say if I was doping and a guy comes to my house, I could legally not answer the door, right? Like he can't
Oh, I
he
didn't
can't
hear the doorbell.
yeah, I didn't hear the doorbell. He can't legally come into my house. I'm just going to lay low, not answer the door, and I'll take that one. You're able to miss 3 tests in a calendar year before you face any repercussions, right? So it's
Right.
like, okay, I'll take that instead of actually taking the test. So there's still a lot of ways.
Because also, if you have 3 missed tests, the ban is 2 years, versus if you're found with something in your system, it's typically 4 years. So you're exactly right. She got popped in an out of competition test. So October 13th, she runs 209.56 to win Chicago. So she would have taken a drug test then that she passed. So World Athletics ratified her world record in December. And then in March 9th, she finishes second in the Lisbon half. She ran 66:20. And then March 14th, she takes the out of competition test that she fails. And then April 3rd, that test gets reported to the AIU. So then that launches the investigation. Mid-April, she pulled out of London Marathon, if we remember, because she wasn't in the right place. And then shortly after that, she chooses to take the voluntary suspension. And then in July, AIU after their whatever initial investigation, provisionally suspends her and charges her with the anti-doping violation.
So it sounds like as of now, she will be able to keep that record.
As of now, it looks like
Yeah.
she'll be able to keep the record.
Who had the record before her? Do you know? Top of your head?
I'll look it up.
But yeah, it's a crazy time for the sport, and it's like if you're an athlete, like yeah, like you just got to feel for the athletes who are robbed of the moments that they really deserve. Like something that comes to mind, like Shannon Rowberry in the it was what was it, the London
London
2012
2012, one of the
1500
dirtiest races of all time.
dirtiest race of all time, and she came in, I believe it was like sixth,
Yeah.
and has now, as of now, she's got a bronze, or is it a silver? Like I don't even know, but it's like they keep and it's awesome that they keep, as the testing gets better, they keep retesting these samples of these big races and find like you can finally get you're not going to get them because you deserve the moment. You deserve to come through the line at one of these races, especially a fucking Olympic final in the 1500, to come through for a medal. It's one of these moments that you can't even really, you dream about it, but you can't really even picture it unless it happens to you. And so it's not at all like, just like, you don't feel satisfied to get an email or a phone call fucking,
Yeah.
like a decade
Your
later.
email goes to spam. Like, oh, I
Yeah.
guess.
Email goes to spam. You're like, you don't even, you're not replying. And then they just, all of a sudden you get like a bronze medal on your doorstep. And you're like, well, I mean, I'm glad that I'm getting it at some point, but you're still robbed of all the emotion that should have been there. And also, right, like, this is the financial aspect of it. You win a global medal, and now you are yes, you get a medal bonus, right then or shortly after, but that's then also usually, I don't know how everybody's contract is, but usually that's, you're now added to the base of your base salary for the years going forward. So you're really getting robbed of so much with doping in that sense.
And not only does your bonus roll over for the base, but you have the benefit of being an Olympic gold medal or an Olympic medalist. So every track meet you go to show up to the next year, you're making an automatic appearance fee. So
Yep.
you're like, just to show up, now you're being paid more. It opens to other tertiary sponsors of, maybe you pick up a watch deal, maybe you pick up a this deal, maybe you pick up a that deal. So it's all of those financial ramifications, but also the like aura that you pick up from being an Olympic medalist. It's like, wow, like the confirmation bias of all of the hard work that I put in, all of the belief that I have in myself, that's suddenly true. And now I go into the next year, I'm being paid a lot more. And I also believe that I believed that I was, and I am now an Olympic medalist, and all of those doors that open because of that belief that got confirmed in you in the moment. So yeah, it doesn't, it's not the same. It's not the same to get it years later. You're not paid back all of the money. Your footwear sponsors are going to be like, oh, you know what? Let's get you check for a few $100,000 because you definitely missed this in the past. And you go back to, you asked who had the marathon world record, and it's Tigst Assefa 2:11:53. So yeah, like she doesn't get to be like, oh, actually, I have the world record again. Like everything is good. Like you cannot repair these moments. You can't repair it financially. You can't repair it emotionally. You can't repair the system that was built on these times that were run. Like it is, yeah, it's irreparable harm done to the sport.
Yeah, no, it's and it also, you don't want to be the athlete that is accusing people of doping.
It's not a good
Like,
look.
it's not a good look, right? It's like you just come off as, and you can really believe it, and everybody else who's on the start line can believe it. But you, when you lose to somebody and you accuse them, you just kind of, you look bitter, you look like a sore loser, and so it's like, even if you really do believe it and feel like, that they're cheating, it's best to just be like, yeah, like, congratulations, and what, I guess I'll fucking see you at the next start line. But you can never really, if you're an athlete, you can never really say, I believe so and so is cheating, even if you think they are.
Right, right. And it is a bad look. It's a bad look. And this was actually a voicemail that was sent in. Someone asked this question, um, and I guess we'll answer it now. Is like, when we were athletes, how did we deal with that? Like, were there people that we thought were cheating? What, what's it like? Like, is there talk about this in, behind closed doors with other pro athletes? And I know I can speak for myself that there are certainly people that I was um, suspicious of, or performances that I was suspicious of, but it did not serve me to stand on a starting line and believe that it wasn't a level playing field. So it never entered my consciousness in ways that were damaging. There were some times, and I can speak about this openly because she tested positive for EPO, but when I was racing the steeple, Ruth Chepngetich, who won the Olympic gold in 2016, had a really um, infamous way of racing where she would win races in the second K, and she would drop like a 250 second K in a steeple, which is unheard of. I mean, 250 is 830 pace for steeple, which is 12 seconds faster than the world record, and it would decimate a field. And I was, I don't know, top 20 in the world that year. I hadn't reached top 10 yet, but I saw this repeatedly and thought, like, this doesn't seem right to me. I don't see other athletes doing this. That We've never seen this before. The second K in a steeple is really notoriously challenging. You hit the last K in a steeple, and if you've blown it at 2K, like, you're actually in danger. That, like, you could seriously hurt yourself if you don't have the strength to finish the last few laps. And so I took that as information that, this doesn't seem right to me. I am not going to go with these moves. I'm going to run my own race. I'm not going to follow the acceleration in the second K. And I think I was like, I don't know, 14th at the Olympics that year or something, whatever. But that was information that, like, that I used to be able to get the best out of my own race tactics. I actually paced her world record in Paris that year in 2016 after the Olympics, and got into like a huge tiff with her agent at the time, because I was given orders from the meet to, like, hey, run this pace. And we saw this, we can segue into the London Diamond League, but we saw something crazy happen in the women's mile in the London Diamond League, which flashed me back to this experience where, so she wanted to run the world record in 2016 before she tested positive for EPO shortly thereafter. And I was given instructions by the meet to, like, go through 2K in such and such time. Like, I think I was supposed to go through 2K in, like, I don't know, say 5:50 or something. And I got in this argument like right before we get on the bus to go to the track with her agent, who's like, no, no, Ruth wants to run 250 for the second K. That's what you need to do. I was like, brother, the meet is paying me to
Yeah.
like, you're not paying me. Like, I was given instructions from the meet director that this is the pace to run. And he then threatens me and my whole agency. He's like, if you don't run this pace, if you don't do what I say, you or any athletes from Stephen Haas's agency will never see a start line at the Paris Diamond League again. And I'm like, the fuck is going on here? Like, what am I supposed to
Who
do?
is the agent?
Mark Korshins, he's my sworn enemy.
Yeah, what a piece of
Um,
shit.
oh God. So
You're like my job's already hard enough as it is.
I'm trying to pace a world record, dude. Like, give me a break. Like I'm like, I don't know. Like, I just got 14th at the Olympics. Like, I'm not this fast. Like, I don't know what we were talking about. And yeah, so then I ended up debriefing with Emma Coburn and her coach at the time, Heather. And I was like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. And then he yells at me again on the start line. It's like, do it. And I'm like, okay, I'll do my best. And then Emma, like we discussed on the bus,
Was Emma in the race?
Emma was in the race.
Yeah.
And she was like, if she passes you, stay in. Like, stay in and run 5:50 through the K. Like, it's going to help me. It's going to help the rest of the field if you stay in this race. And I was like, all right. And yeah, so then I take my lashings on the start line. And yeah, she passes me for the second K and runs a world record. I stay in until 2K or whatever. And I'm like, all right, fuck my life. Like, this sucks. Yeah, crazy stuff. And then guess what? She tested positive for EPO. And you're like, yeah, it looked too good to be true. And it was.
You should have emailed their agent like, you idiot.
Hey, I hate you.
I hate you so much. I don't. When you're pacing, do you sign a contract where you have to make it through? You know, like if you want to get the payday, you have to make it the full 2K.
Yeah, it is a little hand wavy because like that's the contracts that I would sign would be like, yeah, 2K in 550 or whatever. Or it's like it could also be tiered. Like I paced a lot in 2015 because I like wasn't good enough to get into the Diamond Leagues yet. But I think it really helped me a lot, and I actually made a ton of money that year pacing. So 2015, I think I paced like 4 Diamond Leagues. It was awesome. And the contracts would vary. So one would be like guaranteed through a K, and then every lap thereafter that you can make it is an extra however much money. And if you make it to 2K, then it's this much money.
Okay.
And you get like called back for these jobs if you're accurate and if you're not an idiot and you don't get in people's way. Pacing in the steeple is really challenging because you have to be a clean hurdler, because if you're like screwing everyone up, then like that's not good. But then you like can see people's motives when they're like kind of screwing up the race for the rest of the field. It's because they're incentivized to stay in longer. They're incentivized to try to hold on for as many laps as they can.
Okay, yeah. So
but I'm very much in the camp of like, get the hell out of the way if you're screwing up.
Oh yeah, if you're fucking up the race, you have to get out of the way.
It is your moral duty to get the fuck off the track.
Or at least like you would at least if you're slowing down, you have to move out into go wide.
I hate going wide. I'm like, I don't care if you're slowing down. Get off the track. Get out of the way. If there's not furniture on the inside of the track, like if there isn't signage that will like decapitate you, get off into the inside. Jump to the inside. Don't go wide. You don't know if someone is like coming out into like lane 2 or 3 to try to pass. Just like get to the middle if you can. If you can't, you better be taking the hardest right of your life. Accelerate to the right. Get the F out of the way. Don't cheer anybody on. It's not about you. Just get out of the way.
So
really makes me upset.
It sounds like you're pretty firm on if you're pacing. I mean, you couldn't have been actually more firm on you go to the inside.
Yeah. Go to the inside.
That's funny. I always kind of felt like I liked when guys went to the outside.
What?
Well, it's like as long as you're not getting in the way, like you know, like no one's if it's a really fast, 5K and a guy's pacing through 3K and you pull off in the correct way, you're not really going to get in anybody's way if you're pulling off to the outside in the correct way. I should have told it when anybody pulled off to the outside. I'm like, you idiot. There was nothing on the inside. Jump to the inside, get the fuck off the track, and don't cheer me on.
I believe that like a pacer has no name. A pacer has no face. Like you are just there in service to the duty. Like it's not about you. It's just so not about you.
This is how Ruth's agent was treating you. You don't have a fucking name. You don't have a face. You're going to do that second K how I want it.
Maybe he got me.
You were like, he was stern and kind of rude, but I agree with his approach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we can jump into the London Diamond League. That is like a great segue to a really crazy race, which was the women's mile.
Crazy race.
Gudolf's the guy run. She wins. She and her training partner, Berke Hylam, go out in like 60 point. And usually when people pass a pacer, it's not like right away. They pass the pacer in the first 400 meters. It was wild, like absolute wild moves. And Jess Hull runs a really smart race, doesn't go out in 60. And Gudolf's third lap, she runs a 64, obviously, because she went out way too fast. I have so many theories about Gudolf.
Well, let me hear a couple.
Okay, so here's my theory. Here's my theory about this day in particular. And this could be totally wrong. She could like get the translation of this podcast and then like send me a message if I'm like totally off base. But I think that Gudolf believes that she isn't getting the shine she deserves in Faith Kipyegon's shadow. And I believe what motivates Gudolf in every situation is to like prove that she's better than Faith. And it causes her to do wild things that she shouldn't do. Like, I believe that yesterday, from what I saw, she was like, you know what? I'm going to run sub 4 today. Like, that's what her splits indicated. That's what her race strategy indicated. Like, in my mind, she's like that little, like, annoying younger sister that's like, I'm going to show you. Like, I'm going to run sub 4 with no pacers, no help. And I will get the recognition that I'm better than Faith finally for the first time in my life. That's what I saw. So that's just my general theory on Gudolf, because she just she does the craziest race tactics all the time. She basically like gets caught by Jess Hull and then like out kicks in the last like 60 meters to run 4:11.88, which is incredibly fast.
Is that the number 2 time?
I think that's the number 2 time.
Yeah.
It
is. Her race strategies are so bizarre, because she is somebody that should be medaling in world championship races, and multiple of them. Like it's like 5K, 1500. She should be there, like vying for the wins. And her tactics are so bad that she manages to just take herself out of all of them.
Everything.
Like she I don't know what, I can't remember off the top of my head what happened last year in Paris for like the 15 and the 5, but it was like that she's trying to run like world record times in the semifinals, and it's like, are you like, what the actual fuck are you thinking? Like, gotta be, exactly. It's gotta be some of the dumbest strategy known to man. And because she's unbelievably talented.
Yeah, she's like proven time and time again that she's the second best of all time, and is not winning medals because of these dumb decisions.
Because it was like, it's like, oh, okay, a good way. She's on the start line thinking a good way to get into the 1500 final is to try and run like 350, and she's like, that ought to do it, at least on like if I don't get top 5, I at least should be a time qualifier. And then she like runs like, who fucking knows, like 352 or whatever. She's like miles ahead of everybody. And she's like, okay, well, I'm in. And now come the final, she's fried, obviously. Obviously. And then she's like, yeah, like legs weren't there for the final for who knows what reason.
Not sure why.
Couldn't
Just
quite
didn't have it today.
She's like, the legs kind of felt like lead out there. Legs weren't there when I needed them. When the moves were being made, they were not there. She's like, but I do believe they'll be there in the 5K in a day. And then she goes out the 5K like a day later. She's like, I should try and break 14. That should get me in. It is wild. If she could learn to figure out the tactics a bit and like learn to sit, it's like, hey, have you ever heard of sit and kick? Hey, Gouda, have you ever heard of just sitting and kicking?
That's not allowed in Ethiopia.
It's so awesome because like you couldn't, like, guys are terrified to not sit and kick. You're like, go out hard? Are you crazy? Why wouldn't I just sit and kick? Sounds way easier. And Gudov's like, I should try and go out in like 57 or 58 for the first 4, and I'll just hang on. Absolutely brutal race strategy. I mean, to her credit, it leads to fantastically entertaining races. Because you go, okay, well, she's either going to run a world record or where my money is, she's going to blow up at some point. And that's going to be some good entertainment right there.
That needs to be like on the betting line, is like Gudov kamikaze blow up. Does she hold on or does she not hold on?
The Vegas odds of Gudov going out at world record pace and blowing up. And it's like, oh, minus 2,000. Like, it's actually really crazy that she could go out and then usually if you get caught, right, especially by an athlete like Jess Hull, to be able to rally and kick instead of crumbling and falling apart and collapsing into the track, like that's very impressive. She was able to hold on and kick again after doing all the work.
Very impressive. Okay. It wasn't 60 something. It was 59.9 was her first lap.
Disgusting.
59.9 to a 3.4 through a 7.9 at 1200. Just like the worst, most painful way to run that mile.
307 at 1200 after going out in 59. Yikes.
Yeah. Ouchie. Ouchie.
You're like, she comes through 1200. She goes, this sucks. This sucks straight up. I hate this.
Oh shit, I did it again.
She's like, I said I wasn't going to do it, and God damn it, I did it again. She's like, I did it again. She's like, how do I keep finding myself in this situation? She's like, it seems so simple when I'm talking about it with my coach. My coach is like, hey, it's actually really simple. You just don't go out as hard as you possibly can. You're like, definitely. I'm definitely not going to do it this time. I promise you. I promise you I won't do it. And then you see you come through sub 60 and you're like, well, here I am. Back to my old ways.
Back at it again. Sinclair, like, is looking really, really good. American record, 4.6, right? 4.16? 4:16:32.
Man, she's on fire this year. It's like the women's 15 is going to be incredibly exciting.
At USA's, it's going to be, I feel like next week we should do our full like USA's preview. And
USA's is what, 2 weeks?
Yeah. Like we can't do our predictions now, but we are gathering the last bit of data with London, with Stumptown that happened over the weekend. There's a couple of other European races happening, but this is kind of like the last showing of
Yeah.
all of these athletes on a major stage before everybody then breaks for their national championships in 2 weekends. So people really aren't going to race from now until then. They'll just like, maybe do a few days of mileage, bring it down, sharpen up, then go to their national championships. And everybody like around the globe, except for Jamaica, they decided to not do this year. Everybody's aligned on like when their national championships are. So in 2 weekends, it will be really exciting. It'll be the deciding factor of who races at world championships will happen in 2 weekends. But
Are they
Sinclair is
all?
looking
Is that
really
always the
good.
case? Are the national championships always on the same weekend? I didn't think that it always lined up like that.
This is a new world athletics thing. They've like
I like it.
decided. I like it. I love it. It's like when should we expect this? And then they basically pause the Diamond League and the Continental Tour Golds and all of these other meetings, all of these other professional meetings to give a window for the national championship. So it's like you're not going to miss out on a Diamond League if you have your national championships it's like a calendar cleanse for everyone to like go do their thing and then resume the professional season.
Yeah, I like that because I always kind of felt like I was always kind of jealous of like Australia for because like they knew the team in our winter, right? Their summer, which I felt like is a you just get a better build up if you don't need a peak for because it's like if you want any shot at making that US team, you've got to really peak hard for USA's unless you're a really special athlete who can go in there at 80 or 90%, which it's like those guys are now you used to have those, but now at the competition at USA's, it's like you're not really getting
There's
those
no
people
guarantee.
anymore. There's no
There's no
guarantees. It's like you
guarantee.
can't come in and think this is going to be like, oh, I just need it'll be just get top three. And I don't, it's not going to be hard to get top three. It's like you're going to need to really dial it in and peak. And I always kind
You're
of felt
gonna
jealous of the Aussies when it's like, okay, I know in January if I'm on the team, and now I can just get like a pretty long build up for the World Championships if you happen to make the team. So I like the idea that they're all on the same weekend.
I do too. And there are different ways, like every country kind of does it differently of like how they want to run their national championships, and they have the discretion to do so. It's in the US, it's you have to be top three on the day, and you have to have either the standard that we talked about earlier, or you have to be world ranked in the top, whatever, 36. Um, Based on 3 athletes per country. It sounds a lot more confusing than it is. It all works out. You figure it out. This year there is a window chasing opportunity. So, for instance, if you go to World Championships and you come second, but you aren't world ranked in the top 36, or you do not have the standard, you have a little bit of a window to go chase that time or to chase that ranking. But some other countries you have to be guaranteed top 2, make the team, and then the third spot is discretionary, so there is a bit more of a forgiving nature in some countries. Everybody does a little bit differently, but what makes I think what really makes making the US team really challenging is it's on the day, doesn't matter, but it also is a very beautiful tool to prepare the athletes for the world championship. So it's like you have to sell your soul to make the team, but then once you do, it's like you have a leg up because you've gone through those championships. Like
Yeah, but you have no
there's not,
soul.
yeah, you can buy it back. I don't
Yeah.
know. But yeah, I mean, if I'm getting ready for world championships, I'm picking up some Beekeeper coffee, our sponsor, made with local Eugene.
Oh God. You keep absolutely flexing on me with your ad reads. I'm gonna come prepared next week, and I'm gonna the whole episode. I'm just gonna be racking my brain on how I can figure out how to fit the ad read in, and it's gonna suck eventually. But you did it again. Nice work.
Yeah, so pick up your Beekeeper coffee using code CITIUS25 wherever you can buy it, online or on Amazon using our code. It's made with local Eugene, Oregon, Tracktown honey. Get that antihistamine system ready to handle the pollen of Eugene. They've got cold brew with 200 milligrams of caffeine, just black, the hard stuff. It's delicious. And then they also have various latte flavors like horchata and vanilla. And take your favorite, choose your favorite. It's delish.
I'm gonna be absolutely chugging beekeeper coffee come USA's.
Hey,
Our morning show's gonna be so fun.
yeah, so we got a concept approved. So Eric and I will be we will be in Eugene. I'm going to arrive late because I got to keep my corporate job going. I can't be taking that much PTO, so I will be arriving late, but I will be coming in so hot because we just got a concept approved for our off the rails listeners, and that is espresso martinis with beekeeper coffee.
Oh, we got it approved?
Yeah. Well,
Oh my
Chris
God.
approved it.
Yeah. Everyone, beekeeper's like, what the fuck? No, we didn't approve that.
Yeah, they're like,
It's like
shut these
9
guys
a.m. I'm
down.
6 espresso martinis deep, and I'm like, I'm ready to talk. I
I
am
think it's a
ready to
great
talk.
idea.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is a really good idea. So yeah, we got USA's two. Let's see what else happened in London. We
Wait,
had
London. Yeah, we have really crazy stuff.
yeah.
Awesome meat. Also, um
Let's
if
talk
you
about
want to
London for
make
a sec.
yeah, exactly. Like if you want
How amazing the environment. Like we talk a lot about how it's, like the state of track and field and how hard it can be to fill a stadium. And you go to London and it's probably like, one of the nicest stadiums in the field or in the world, and it's completely packed, right? Like 60,000 people
packed.
plus in that stands and completely sold out. And like this is a place that really understands the sport and like loves it. Can't say enough good things about that environment.
You want to make a track fan out of somebody, take them to the London Diamond League.
Yeah.
It's so loud in there. It's one of if not the best atmosphere I've ever raced in. I'm like trying to think of what can compare. And you kind of can't. Like, didn't something happen during the London Olympics where it was too loud during the Mo Farah like double gold moment that like the cameras that were filming the race started vibrating. So the picture of the race wasn't clear because of the vibrations from the crowd noise. Like it is one of those places that's like it's it's the best. Like you look at the pictures from the meet you're watching on TV and you're thinking like is that completely full? Like the upper deck is completely full. It is raucous. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's like one of those stadiums. It's definitely the most intense stadium I've like raced in. I remember like the new Hayward Field is nice, but it's a bit there's something that is it absolutely is something missing from it. Um, dare I say the soul of Hayward is not quite there in the new Hayward. The old Hayward with the grandstand right on top, the back straightaway with the grandstand right on top of the track. Um, it felt so much more electric, and it kind of felt like the stakes were higher, even though like this new stadium can fit a lot more fans. It doesn't feel like it's fitting more fans because it's like everybody's spread out, and it just doesn't quite feel like as like it had like a claustrophobic effect in the grandstands, right? Like you could feel the crowd on top of you, which like felt like really, really exciting. You could be like doing your warm ups and your final strides down the straightaways, and you could hear people talking to you in the crowd, right? You could be like, you could hear your friends, or you could hear people chirping you, like whatever it was. And you don't get that feeling now. But like when you're in London, right? Like I remember walking out on there for the first time, and it's just like, oh my God, like this is insane. And I remember in 2017 when Mo was running the 10K, And at one point, like he had like because he would do the mid race antics, raising,
Oh yeah.
getting the crowd pumped up. You don't see that anymore unless you're Jakob Ingebrigtsen. But the crowd was so insane that you're like, I can't even. You could feel like the vibration in your chest. You're like, I can't even really believe what's going on right now, and it's hard to, like, you really can't produce that in the States as much. Like the only, I remember talking with Galen, and he said like the London 2012 10K was the loudest he's ever been in, and then like a close second was like the indoor BU for like a mile, like when he was trying to break the world record for the mile. But that's just, again, because it's like the indoor race and you're getting everybody on top of you, and so it's so hard to produce, to get that type of sensation like outdoors in a huge open space. Like the people in London really come out and show support for a track meet.
It's amazing. And completely to your point of, oh, track and field dying, blah, blah, blah. No, track and field is very alive. It's just in Europe. It's just in Europe. London Diamond League, Budapest World Championships, Paris Olympic Games. We're talking packed stadiums. Like, you can't have a conversation. It's so loud. Like, it is for people, listening in the US of thinking that they're like into this niche sport. Like, this is not a niche sport. This is not a niche sport at all. Like, it's huge. And London is the perfect display of it.
Yeah, and they really come out and show support for, I'm sure, Josh Kerr. Because now London's got, UK's got stars, right? Like
They do.
Keely Hodgkinson,
Georgia Bell.
Josh Kerr, like these Whiteman. Like, you got so many guys and girls that are like winning up for medals, and that'll put asses in seats at a London Diamond League. Georgia Bell won the 800, right?
Georgia Bell came out swinging, winning the 8, 156.74. And it's
Wow.
interesting, like, what event is she going to run in Tokyo?
Yeah.
Like, she's so good
I
at
would
both
think
8
like
and the 15.
156. Like, I would think, because the 15 is, obviously she got a bronze medal in the 15 an Olympic bronze. So you can't say, hey, don't run the 15 because you're clearly good at the 15. But first off, has Keely raced yet?
I was just going to ask you the same question. We haven't really seen Keely.
We have, like, so, and I would think that you usually,
Well, they're
I mean,
training partners.
you would have opened up with something, right? If you were 100% healthy, I can understand, like, having, you want to take a big, little bit of a break after the Olympics, and the year she had was historical. But you would have, if everything was, firing and 100%, you would have opened up with a race. And I'm sure, actually, one would think, and I'm sure that there was big incentive for her to be at this London Diamond League.
Oh, I'm sure.
Like
I'm sure.
this is where UK athletics, if she was healthy, is saying, like, please, like, you're the biggest UK star right now, and you're, one of the faces of track and field. People really want to see you race. So even if she was healthy, you would assume that she would have been there this weekend.
Yeah.
With athletes, like, let's say even if, let's say, Keely is healthy right now, like, a thing is not quite a thing of the past. She ran too flat, right? So it's like,
yep. She's coming back, but
she's
isn't
coming
there
back.
yet.
She's coming back. But I'm saying, like, if you're Georgia Bell, that's like the 800. You just run 156. That the 800's looking a little bit better than the 15 is. I mean, you run 156. You're now one of the best in the world. Like, I don't know. The 15 seems a bit deeper.
And you have the strength from the 15. So
Yes,
you know that you will handle the 3 rounds of the 800 at World Championships better than the pure 800-meter specialists.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
Interesting.
it is really interesting. The women's mid distance is just so deep right now. I mean, same with the men's, but the women's is incredibly fun to watch right now, and it's crazy how good the UK is at the 800. Like you've got Keely, you've got Georgia Bell, and then you've got Gemma Reekie. Like they're all like there. You could see that being like a 1, 2, 3 on the podium. They're incredibly good at the 800.
It's true.
Has Keely run a 15?
No, no, not
She
interested.
sucks at it.
That's it. She's not doing it. It's too long.
Yeah.
She's very vocally not doing the 15.
I'm not doing the 15. Like, okay.
No means no. Fine.
Sorry. I just really think it would help. I just really think it would help you as an 800 runner. Okay. Fuck it. You do you.
You do you, girl. You're doing it well. The men's 8 was another interesting race.
Great one.
Your boy's back at the Diamond League, Donovan Brazier.
Donovan's looking good. I think this is another great step in the right direction. Because this feel like it's one thing to run, 144 at Portland Track Fest. It's another, and it's kind of like it's low stakes. It's kind of it's just, rust buster after years of not racing, get back on the start line and see what it's like, to now all of a sudden be put on, get a lane in the London Diamond League against the field that he was racing against. I mean, that field right there is Olympic World Championship final level. You look at Marco, Wignoni, Bryce Hoppel, is he Moroccan or Algerian guy whose name is evading me? Absolutely insane kick. It really is just like an insanely stacked field. And I think if he can stay healthy, he's going to be very hard to leave off that team. And there's just so much time in between USA's and the World Championships that who knows the type of shape he could get in. But man, like you saw in this men's 800, you saw Marco. First off, he looked so much better than he did a couple weeks ago in his last race. But he made a really, really hard move with, I think, like 250, 200 to go. And in any other race, you're done, right? Like to be able to kick 600 meters in to an 800 is a different kind of strength. And then to see Wignoni battling back and still get him on the inside, you're like, Jesus, these guys are insanely fit right now. Like the Wignoni because you're like, what more do you need to do to beat Wignoni?
You just can't beat this guy.
I was like, Jesus Christ, dude. Like, what the fuck do I need to do? How hard do I need to kick, dude? He just couldn't get Wignoni looks really, really good. He hasn't lost a race in who knows how long. So it's the men's 8 is again one of those races where like anything can happen, obviously, but the heavy hitters are seriously tough to take down.
Then we have the men's 15, which again is just, this race was extremely chaotic with a fall with, I don't know, between 200 and 150 to go. Made it super messy, but my God. Fanuel Koech, I don't really know this guy very much.
No one really does, Aisha.
Okay.
Well, I mean, he's on an absolute tear this year. I think he's a young dude. I think they say he's 18 years old. Doing what? What was he doing last year? I don't know. No one really does. He just bursts on the scene. But I mean, this was a pretty to Josh Kerr is able to close on everybody, right? Like Josh Kerr, that final 100 is usually able to storm back. And if he's not going to get you at the line, it's going to be very, very close. He got outran in front of a home crowd. You know that this is one that Kerr
He's not
definitely
gonna like that.
wanted to win. And like this is, I mean, Josh is, I think, going to be pretty tough to beat in the 15 final. Let's say makes it there. I think he's just a guy that is shines when in the spotlight. He like really prides himself on being a championship racer, and I think he's going to be, you know, he ran 320. What he ran 329 or 328, whatever. Like he's clearly fit.
329 low.
Yeah, and the more time that he gets under his belt training, I think he's going to be tough to beat in a championship setting, especially with rounds and how hard these rounds go. But this Koech guy is, because it's we like to talk about, you know, like the big three, big four with Cole, Yard Naguse, Ingebrigtsen, and Josh Kerr. But now it's like this guy has won some serious big races and is really asserting himself into the mix. I was actually, like, speaking of that fall, the Aussie Cam Myers was looking incredibly good. Like this, he's already gone sub 330, but like the way he was moving with a lap to go, covering moves, it looked very relaxed. Looked like he had gears to go, and gets taken out. Brutal fall. George Mills is no stranger to a good fall.
No.
He's like 200 meters ago. He's like, fuck it, I'll go down.
I don't want to talk bad about George Mills, because I get the sense that he would fight me if it came to it.
Oh, he'll beat your ass. Still fun to talk a little shit.
When we talk about hard championships, we talk a lot about the US championships, but there are a few other countries right now on both the men's and the women's side in the 1500 that have an abundance of incredible athletes, and the UK is one of them. In this Diamond League alone, we have Josh Kerr, we have Jake Whiteman, Elliot Giles, Neil Gurley, George Mills. This is not a guaranteed team to make. I mean, maybe it is for Josh Kerr, but maybe not. You know, like there's so much that can happen. The UK has a discretionary spot usually for their championships, so there's always that. But men's 1500, you look at the Brits, you look at the Americans. On the women's side, the women's 1500, Australia is another country that's like, what the hell is going on? Like they've got Jess, they have Abby Caldwell, they have Georgia Griffith, they have why am I blanking? Lyndon Hall. All of these women are running incredibly fast, and it's not like that's not a guarantee either. There are other countries that are now developing the sort of depth that has been historically there in the US, and it's just so fun to see all of this new competition pushing everyone to new heights. It's really fun. So I'm looking forward to not just watching the US trials, it's just keeping tabs on all of the other trials when we're in Eugene in a couple weekends.
Oh yeah, that UK men's 1500 team is going to be really, really tough to make. Like if you're, it is like, I remember like racing, like I always thought when I was racing, it'd be like a discretionary spot. It benefits the racers, right? Because it's like, if you're a Josh Kerr, there's no way you're left off that team, because you can have a bad race. And if you're the, you know, UK Federation, you're like, well, we're obviously there's no way we leave Josh Kerr off that plane ride. Like he's going to go. So I always like, but as far as like entertainment goes, it is a lot more fun to watch a race where it's just top three go through. And usually the top three, the best racers usually find themselves in that top three, but there are situations where you will have a guy, that falls or goes down. Like for a perfect example is when a thing fell in the 800, and just like that, you're done, right? Like if that's another country, that's okay, right? Because they're bringing her anyway. But in the US, it's not like that. The UK 1500 team is insane. You could see any combination of those three guys going. Like, we're laughing about George Mills, but the guy's been running unbelievable this year.
3:28, really. Like he's
3:28,
crushing it. Yeah.
7:28 indoors for the 3K. Like, he's clearly unbelievably fit. Neil Gorley is another guy that shows up to race when it counts. Jake
Medaled indoors.
Whiteman's looking good. Like, Whiteman has had a rough couple years since winning the outdoor title in Eugene. We've talked about it before, how tough it is to stay healthy, but it finally looks like he's stringing together some good training. He was he ran 3:30, 3:31 in London this past weekend. So he's not quite battling for wins like he's used to, but he's still, you could see this race going at their trials. If it's even close to a sit and kick race, like Whiteman easily could take the win in that scenario. So yeah, the whole state of the middle distance, like in a global standpoint, so deep.
It's very fun. It's also a
then
nod to,
we saw our boy Noah Lyles.
yep, Noah Lyles goes down in the 100. I saw some like Twitter speculation that maybe the 100 is going to be where Noah shines this year, and we didn't necessarily see it come to fruition on the day, but we did see him come second to Oblique Seville. Noah ran 10 flat, Oblique ran 986. But good to see him racing. I mean, you need to get out there before the US Championships. He's going to have a tough championship with a lot of people that have come forward. A lot of challengers have come forward. A lot of bombshells have entered the villa in the men's sprints in the US. So yeah, it's going to be exciting.
Yeah, I think he's just doing the 200 at USA's, right? Like I think he said that in these past weeks that he's just gonna do the 200. I don't see why the 100 would be his. It seems like the 100's kind of loaded with, you got the Jamaicans who are running insanely fast. Like I know he seemed to be happy with the, an opening 10-0, but I don't know. It's like he just beat Tobago in the 200 in his opening 200. It looks like
might as well keep her there.
Keep her right there
in the sweet spot.
Yeah. Let's see, anything else and from London?
I think that pretty much covers it.
Did anything happen at Stumptown?
Stumptown, yes. And there was Sound Running last weekend also. Brandon Miller at Sound Running ran 334 for 1500. Did you see that?
Really? I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Wow, that's actually
interesting.
huge. And I assume because that's a huge PR for him, especially as an 800 guy. That I don't know what he's run for 8 so far this year, but he's a guy that's always fighting for that spot in the team. It's gonna be tough to beat the likes of Hoey and Hopple, but that team is gonna be that
tough team.
Really tough to make. Yeah.
On the men's side at Sound, I'm like a Hobbs Kessler, but he hasn't really looked super great in his last couple of outings. So I want to see him develop up until USA's. Drew Hunter won the 15
I
at
saw that.
Sound. Yeah, which was awesome. Like this guy has really been through a big injury cycle and has moved way up in distance, but to come down and win a 15 and 3:33 was great. Great to see. On the women's side, Josette looks incredible.
Yeah.
She won the 15, ran 4 flat, but like really solo effort. Looks great. Stumptown, Elise, we saw Elise Craney race. She ran the 5K, ran 15:06. Um, Danny Jones, who we haven't seen race a lot, she ran 2 flat for 800. The high school, I think a high schooler won the 8 in like 159 high.
High
Yeah,
schooler. Wow.
couple of just interesting showings here and there. We're seeing, yeah, we're seeing people play their last card before USA's, which, yeah, we'll give a big preview next week. But yeah, that kind of concludes the track action.
You gotta like shout out like Drew Hunter is a guy. He seems to be like, everyone loves Drew Hunter.
Can't not
And
love
to
the
see
guy.
and to see him back, it's an interesting position when you're not making teams, right? Like you're not making teams, but you still are running really well. It's kind of like this in between, like no man's land of like, what should I do in the sport, right? Because it's like people look at, oh, the whole goal of your year for when I was racing was based around like you try and make this team, and if you don't make the team, like okay, you can go and try and run fast over in Europe, but that's about it, right? And it's an interesting position because the US and the sport as a whole has just gotten so fast where you can be a guy like Drew who's improving, right? He's like a veteran of the professional track world. He got in it fresh out of high school, and so he's been around for a while, and he's still improved to be running as fast as 15 of his career right now. It's just an interesting like spot to be in for a guy like him, and I wonder where you look at yourself in terms of like, where do I go from here? It used to be like, oh, if you're a 10K guy who's not making the 10K team, oh, just move up, go to the
Go to
roads,
the roads.
go to the roads, like go try and run a marathon. Like you kind of see it with Joe Klecker, right? Like that's what Klecker's done. I mean, I think we can talk about that for a bit because I think it's crazy. Even Klecker went to the roads, right? Like this is a guy who beat Grant Fisher at the last trials. I thought it's like usually you see a guy go to the roads when they're a bit washed on the track, right? It's like, oh, okay, like the legs are clearly gone, the wheels are gone speed wise. Let's move up. Let's move on up. And I just thought like with Klecker, he was running so well on the 10 and was a pretty dominant dude there along with Grant that I was shocked to see him move up to the roads that early. So,
I
you know what I mean?
I think that paradigm has changed a bit though with the roads. Like it's not just the track level that has been raised, the road level has been raised too. I think the idea of like, oh yeah, once I'm washed, I'll go to the roads. Like, good luck. Like any road race I've done, later in my career, I'm getting my ass kicked. Like it is ferocious on the roads now. So I think that there's sometimes a play to go early to the roads. Like look at Emily Sisson. She's young, went to the roads young. Emma Bates went to the roads young, like and having a lot of success. So I think that that's a play. But I think that there's so many different ways to think about a professional running career. And I mean, my husband Will Lear didn't make an outdoor team, made indoor teams, made indoor finals, world relays teams, has a world relay medal, like, had raced at Pan Am's and all of these things. And like, he had a really long career and it's not a failure. Like it's, I think there's so much like now that I'm like retired, I've been retired for a year and I see like the real world, like what's on the other side, I think that there is such value in this sport in particular where you are just absolutely scrapping it out for crumbs. And it's at the end of the day, only you alone can make it happen. There are teams behind you, you have training partners, you have sponsors, whatever. There is no, you can't at the last second alley oop to somebody else and have them slam dunk it. Like it's completely on your back. And this sport churns out just some of the most incredible people that have stayed in it for so long. And I respect those athletes that do that, and I respect the athletes that go for the long career and don't necessarily go. So like it's almost like I see two groups of people. It's like the group of people that's like, if make a team or die, and I am willing to be at my best for 3 years. I'm willing to sacrifice health, life and limb to get the absolute 0.1% of myself. And I think you see teams that are built around that, like teams that are built around medal, like with the ethos of the team, the goal of the team to be world championship, Olympic championship medals, and the culture of that team is like grind everything out, shine for a small window. And then the other side is like, hey, I'm going to see how well I can be. I'm going to treat my body really well. I'm going to, um, train to the best of my ability, but I'm not going to go over the edge. And I'm going to try to I'm going to try to make the teams. I'm going to try to do all the stuff. But at the end of the day, I want to be healthy and I want to be the best version of myself. And sometimes the people in that camp end up winning medals. Sometimes the people in the other camp don't. It kind of goes either way. Like there's no right or wrong way to do it. There's no like ultimately more successful way to do it here or there. But I have a lot of respect for the folks that like are, the Drew Hunters of the world, the Will Lears of the world, that are like right on the cusp. And maybe you're in an era where the 1500 is like really stacked with both Will and both Drew are in that era of like, maybe if they ran for a different country or were 3 years earlier or 3 years later, like they would be making the teams, they would be winning the championships, they would be doing these things. But there is like this character that it develops that I think ultimately you don't see in the real world very often. And it's this ability of resilience and defining success on your own terms that I think is one of the most beautiful things that you can take away from the folks that like aren't in the immediate spotlight shine. I think it's a beautiful thing.
Oh yeah, I mean the life lessons that if you you don't need to be making teams or even be making it to the professional scene to be reaping the benefits that the life lessons and benefits that running instills in you, right? It's all the best lessons are showing up every day, goal setting, the putting in the work when no one sees it, right? Like you don't need to be making teams and be winning diamond league races to do that. um I mean there's a reason why guys like Drew Hunter is your favorite runner's favorite runner. It's just when you're a great person and put in the work every single day, like people are gonna love you no matter what. um but yeah, it's an absolutely cutthroat sport. It's a shame that you can't take more people to world championships, right? It's a shame that 6 people in an event can't go, right? Because there's so many deserving athletes that your heart breaks when they don't make the team. But it's the nature of the sport, and it's a brutal one.
So brutal. I think it's now time to take some listener questions.
Hit
Everyone
me.
really
Let's do it.
understood the assignment last week. Last week, we asked for some Apple Podcasts reviews. Y'all turned up wrote some great reviews. Thank you.
Thank
Very
you.
sweet. We love you. And then we asked for more voicemails, which was amazing. I'm gonna play. Eric hasn't heard the voicemails this week. So these are all going to be a complete surprise to him.
Going in
So
blind.
we will start with this one.
Yo, what's up? Love you guys. You guys are hilarious. I got a question for you. So you've got 4 attributes to work with: speed, strength, mentality, and aura. Let's say you want to make the perfect 1500 meter specialist based on current 1500 meter athletes for both men and women based on those 4 attributes. Who are you picking for each of those attributes to make the perfect 1500 meter specialist? All right. So yeah.
Great question.
Okay. So he said, we're building our perfect 15 athlete: speed, strength, aura, and what was the speed,
strength, aura.
I think it was something like I think it was mentality, right?
Mentality. Yeah.
Speed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Speed.
So let's identify the big 4 is going to be Josh Kerr, Jakob Ingebrigtsen, Yara Naguse, and Cole Hawker.
Well, those are the 4 like obvious things, but you know we can mix and match.
Okay.
Right?
We can remove the guardrails. I was picking from those 4. Let's remove the guardrails.
Yeah, let's take the bumpers off. Well, aura, I probably will go aura with Jakob.
If we're taking the guardrails off, Matt Centrowitz.
Oh, okay. Okay, so we're going all time?
All time. Let's take it all time.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, Centro did have a absolutely really good aura. Centro's head games were absolutely insane. He had some of the most unbelievable mind games you'd ever see, and it wasn't like a trash talk on a start line. It's like subtle Instagram stories starting years in advance.
The post wearing the sunglasses that was like, if these are your girls, Marc Jacobs, I got them, or something ridiculous. Yeah, like serious mind games.
One time we'd be in Park City, and he would be posting Instagram stories of him like he would be putting these like pints of Ben and Jerry's ice cream on the grocery store checkout, like on the conveyor belt. He would take a video of that, and then he would put the ice cream back.
What?
And he'd be like, he's just like, no, I want these guys to think I'm eating ice cream. I was
oh my God.
Like, what the fuck is going on in your head, man? It's a different type of mind games. The guy, and it always worked. The guy delivered.
It always worked.
So Centro aura, I like that. Okay, well, speed. How about McLuffy?
Oh my God. Tuvik McLuffy, 2016 Olympic silver? He was silver or bronze?
No, he was gold in 2012. 2016, I think he got double silver.
Double silver, yeah. This guy's from Algeria. I do have to publicly say that Tuvik McLuffy has the biggest crush on me of any. I've never received a crush like this before. A shameless crush. It's really challenging for me to endure this crush.
He came on strong.
It came on strong, and he had no shame about it. Aisha is like one of the most popular women's name in Islamic culture, and he's Algerian. There's a song that he would sing to me every time he saw me. We all lived in the same apartment building. My husband and I, and Tubi
Yeah.
McCluvy, who would walk around in tighty whitey Calvin Klein underwear, serenade me every morning, and Will every day would be like, "I'm right here, bro. Like, I'm right here," and we would just laugh about it. It was like that. That's also a candidate for Aura. But that guy, yeah, I hadn't seen him in a few years. He popped out in like 2019, Houston, singing the song to me still.
Still.
Um, still,
Same
it's a
song?
problem. Aisha, Aisha, écoutez-moi. Like I can't unhear it. Like it's a
First off,
serious situation.
nice note run right there.
Thanks. But for speed, I'm going Cole Hawker.
Okay, yeah. Talk about someone whose piss was probably absolutely lethal. Tao McLuffy. Recheck those tests, buddy. Cole Hawker's a good one.
Yeah.
Mentality. I mean, that's a tough one.
I'm gonna go Yar Nagoose. I love Yara's mentality. I think, he's in a super group, right? Like there have recently been a lot of injuries in that group. The level that they train at is incredibly impressive, but sometimes could be a bit too much if you're not careful. When you're training in a group and everybody's one of the best in the world, someone's going to be having a better day than you. And I've multiple times seen Yara pull, hold back and run to his ability on the day. And that to me is a show of incredible confidence, because the easy choice is to always blow it. The easy choice is to always say, like, I can't let this guy go. I have to be there every step of the way, or it means something. And I like his mentality that he stays within himself and he saves it for race day. He doesn't take himself too seriously. He's having fun with it. He brings his authentic self to the track, and I think that's really cool.
Yeah, it seems like I don't know Yard too well, but it seems like he's incredibly laid back and easygoing, and the stories that the on guys tell about him make him seem like quite the character. I'm gonna bring it back a little name drop that you had mentioned before in this episode, but Nick Willis. I mean, Nick Willis is probably the most underrated. He's a 2-time Olympic medalist in the 1500, right? And he was bronze in 2016, and then was he a silver in, was it 2004 or 2008? The guy was running for a very long time, ran until he was like 40. And
He's got two Commonwealth Games golds, 2 bronze, from, oh god, now I'm gonna mess this up. Yeah, silver 2008, bronze in 2016. He has also world championship medals from, I believe, Daegu, maybe. Now I have to pull it up.
No, not Daegu.
Not Daegu. Yeah, Daegu was too hot. Yeah, national record holder for New Zealand. Ran sub 330 before that was like an everyday occurrence.
Yeah, no, just a stacked resume. And you just don't, like, he's not brought up a lot in terms of, the all-time great 15 guys, because he doesn't necessarily, that people really talk about the gold medalists. But yeah, I mean, to be able to have the career that Willis had, you have to have a pretty insane mentality. And so let's see, we got strength left?
Strength.
Okay, well, I can't leave my boy Jakob off this completely.
Yeah, that he's got to be. Yeah, hands down, it's got to be Jakob for strength. I mean, you're not. You can't run 5Ks like that with no strength. I mean, he's like the definition of strength.
Yeah, if anything,
he invented it.
Yeah. I'm like, the guy's got to work on his wheels if we're going to be completely honest. His strength is right there, but you got to get that 800 down if you want to beat these boys in the 15.
Yeah. We've been so on the rails this episode. You know, we've talked a lot about track. The haters who say we don't talk enough about track will finally be happy with this episode. So we're going to close it out with this off the rails question.
Hi, Eric. Hi, Isha. This is Leah from Tucson. I have a genuinely extremely urgent question. Okay, so this is actually a scenario. So here it goes. You are about to go to bed really late, really tired. You've already done your whole ass skincare routine, if that's something you do. You go to brush your teeth because everyone brushes their teeth last. And you're like, oh shit, I threw away my toothbrush earlier in the day because I was like cleaning and it was time to get a new toothbrush. So you go open the bathroom cabinet and you realize you are out of toothbrushes. Okay, what do? I'm going to give you 3 options. Using water and your finger and a little bit of toothpaste is not an option. That's just for psychopaths. Okay, A, do you just say fuck it and go to bed? B, drive to the drugstore and buy a new toothbrush, or C, use your spouse, partner / roommate's toothbrush?
That's the question. First of all, I do want to hear Eric's skincare routine. So that's the first question. When she refers to the whole ass skincare routine, I want to know Eric's skincare routine.
Did she also say did you say what did you say before skincare? I thought you said like, what's your ab routine? Like,
and then she said your whole ass skincare routine.
Oh, my whole my ass skin. Oh, okay. Well, look, I try and keep as many chemicals off my skin as possible, Aisha. I think we've talked about this in private, but we can talk about it for the public right now. So I make my own lotion. Am I applying it every night? No. I apply it when I get out of the shower. Do I have a nightly cream that I sporadically use? Yeah.
Oh my God, I hate you.
But I'm not like, I don't have a nightly, like every single night I'm applying my serums and my creams. I moisturize with a purpose. Okay. I moisturize with a purpose every single day, but not every single night. Now,
that's just upsetting because you have great skin. Anyway, go on.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. Now, yes, would I drive to the grocery store and get a new toothbrush? 100% unless I'm exhausted. Unless I'm exhausted. Hold on. Whoa. What time is it? Is it
bedtime?
Okay. Well, let me say this. I am not getting any sleep if I am not feeling like a clean mouth. I don't like that feeling at all. I don't like it one bit. Okay. But so I most likely am going to drive to the grocery store. Actually, she said, look, I'm driving to the grocery store, but she did say she threw out her toothbrush earlier in the day. I'm digging through the trash.
Oh, no.
100% would go through the trash for a toothbrush. I'd go through the trash. I would be like, there would be times when I'd like throw away like a cupcake in the trash. I'd be like, well, I'm going to go dig it out of the trash for sure. 100% eating. I'm eating shit out of the trash. I'll get my toothbrush out of the trash for damn sure. If I was going to throw away food that I was tempted to eat, I had to put it under, I would have to put it in the sink and let the water get at it first.
Eric, I think you need to talk
because
to
I'm
someone.
eating out of the trash. Now, but I will go through the trash first. Now, this is actually this is actually a loaded question because I got other stories too. Now, I would not use my roommate's if I had a spouse, yes, I'd use their toothbrush. Because now maybe will gross out a lot of people. I'm from a big family. And for maybe the first 13 to 14 years of my life, everyone was using like 2 toothbrushes.
Oh my God.
I know. It wasn't until I like was in like middle school. I'm like, wait, we're all sharing the same toothbrush. Does this not strike anybody else as kind of weird?
Was this knowingly, like, or was there just like 2 toothbrushes, everyone's going in at different times? Or was it like, okay, now it's so-and-so's turn to brush their teeth, and you like hand off the toothbrush like a baton?
I don't remember the baton handing off, but I'm sure at points there was that. But all of a sudden, I like, it's like when you all of a sudden like gain consciousness. All of a sudden I was like, wait, we're all just sharing the same toothbrush. This is, I was like, I think I'm a big boy. I want my own toothbrush. And then that would lead to me hiding my toothbrush around the bathroom, because if I didn't hide it, then the whole family would just use it. And so like, I would just be like scattering toothbrushes around the house at will. So yeah, I'm not afraid of using other people's toothbrushes too. But what I also, in a pinch, have you ever used like a little water pick? So it's not
we have
floss,
different
but
answers
it's
to
a
this
water
question.
pick.
So yeah, we have different. Yeah, we have different answers.
That gives me a very
Enough of a
refreshing
refreshment.
feeling. Very refreshing. If I can't brush my teeth at all, am I at least allowed to floss? Can I floss and use a water pick? Now we're getting somewhere.
Is there any circumstance in which you just go to bed?
No, fuck no.
Holy shit.
Just go to bed?
Okay, you're gonna hate this. So I am a very like clean girl. Like I'm
But
I like my house is clean. Like
yeah,
like my standards of clean are very high. I shower at least every day. Like I'm very clean.
Mhm.
However, this is my like secret. I've never had a cavity, and there's probably 3 nights a month that I just forget to brush my teeth, and I just get in bed. I use my husband's toothbrush all the time. We'll go on full vacations, and I'll say like, "Oh, I forgot my toothbrush," and I just use his toothbrush the whole time. Like that's not a thing for me. Like whatever. But I've done this my whole life. Like if I forget to brush my teeth, or I get into bed before I've brushed my teeth, like it's just not that big of a deal to me. In the morning, brushing my teeth is a big deal. Nighttime toothbrushing, sometimes it just doesn't happen. And that's completely okay with me. I do get a lot of flack from my spouse of like, are you not going to brush your teeth? Sometimes I'll say, if you really want me to brush my teeth, you can put toothpaste on my toothbrush and bring it to me in bed. I'll start the toothbrushing in bed, and then I'll move to the sink and finish. Like I don't care about it that much. I really just don't care about it that much. And maybe it's because, I'm blessed with good enamel. That's genetic. I can't influence that. Like I should have bad teeth, but I don't. Here we are. That my secret is out.
Will's like, please brush your teeth. And you're like, I get 3 nights a month where I don't brush my teeth. This is one of my nights.
And he's like, go to the guest bed. Like, don't sleep next to me.
He's like, okay. You're like, I'll make a deal with you. I'll bring you out a toothbrush with toothpaste on it. And you're like, maybe I'll do it. Maybe.
It's my secret.
That's fun. Well, thank you for being open about it. And yes, you're incredibly clean. And I guess you don't deserve your enamel, truth be told, I guess.
I don't deserve these things.
Yeah. That was a really good good question. But also, so you've never done the, let's say you were,
Oh yeah, I'll finger brush it. That's fine.
yeah. Let's say
Like I'm
you end
camping
up
and I
at,
forget
you
I
end
forget
up
my
at
toothbrush
a
all the time.
house, you end up at a house that you didn't plan on being. You're having an unplanned sleepover. And you're not gonna finger brush?
You're gonna finger brush.
You're
You're
gonna
gonna
finger
finger
brush.
brush. Yeah.
Of course. Let's say you're lucky enough that there's mouthwash in the building. You're gonna be
Wash it
right as
up.
rain.
It's fine.
And then actually also I'm just gonna fucking use their toothbrush. I don't give a shit.
Same. Yeah. I'm really not precious about the toothbrush. Like I would probably let you use my toothbrush.
Thank you. Except
Yeah.
you've forgotten your toothbrush probably.
Yeah. Will's not gonna let you use his.
Yeah.
Definitely not.
I'm like, well, please. I can't go to bed unless I'm clean. Well, good question.
Brutal.
And what a hell of an we started off on the most serious wavelength, and we ended up quite the opposite.
Perfection.
Perfection. Well, until next week, I guess.
Until next week. Yeah. Leave us some more voicemails. Maybe some predictions if you want. Maybe some hot takes. Next week we'll do a lot of speculation picks.
Yeah.
About who we think is going to make teams. But thanks for joining us.
Thanks for listening, guys. We really appreciate it. Shout out Beekeeper Coffee.
Shout out.
We'll see you next week.
Love you. Bye.
Bye. Love you. Bye.